everybody, my name is Mike. I am not for Coltrane. Welcome to your Coltrane Tuesdays for this, the 9th day. Oh, wait, nope. Well, I thought it was going to go all right. Welcome to your Coltrane Tuesdays for this, the 9th day of January in the year 2024 of the Common Era. Yes, as I say, my name is Mike. I'm not for Coltrane, and I'm actually starting on time, which is weird. Which is maybe why I managed to mess up the intro with my dog's face on top. So, as I mentioned in the description and in the social media post that went out just a bit ago, I've decided retroactively that that last week's show was in fact the start of a series where I'm going to be leading off the shows with U2 songs, with songs by the band U2. Last week, of course, we did New Year's Day, which, again, as I noted, was a bit on the nose, but was definitely the song I was thinking of for starting off 2024. And then I thought, you know what, I've got a lot of U2 songs that I like, and the one for next week is also particularly upstaged by dawg. Well, you know, that's what they say about working with animals. Always upstaged by the dog. Even when the dog is no longer with us, still being upstaged by Coltrane. But that is okay. So yeah, doing a series of U2 songs to lead off these couple weeks of shows. We decided that the name for the series is Jan U Tuesdays. Jan U Tuesdays. Thanks very much to Beth for coming up with the concept for what we're going to call this, because I was casting about for a catchy name to go with it. So for this next installment, today's installment of the Jan U Tuesdays series, I'm going to do a song that I, in fact, a cover of U2 that I, in fact, put out on an EP several years ago. Maybe it was 2014. Holy cow, it's 10 years ago. Thereabouts. The song is Mysterious Ways from the Stump-the-Band album, coming out at the end of 1991, if I remember correctly. You got to actually have notes this time. Yes, the end of 91 is when the album came out, as well as when this single came out. So I'm going to get things started here, while also talking a little bit about how the song came together. As I've noted last week, trying to do U2 songs on acoustic guitar is not really how they were created, but it is the challenge that I have set out for myself. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to get things started just very simply by making sure that I have a kind of a click track to work from. That was not good. The simplest bit. Good. That'll work fine. So this particular song, when the guys were working on figuring out what was going to be the album that was going to become Stump-the-Band, they were just kind of messing around with some different things. The song that would become Mysterious Ways. Whoops. See if I'm still in tune here. Sounds like it. There we go. The song that would become Mysterious Ways began mostly with the bass riff. So the bass riff had been part of the bassist, who's Adam Clayton. Make sure I get that name right this time. In fact, I did last time, but basically by accident. Adam Clayton, bassist for U2. The band was working on a cover of Night and Day by Cole Porter, of all songs. And this little bass riff came out of it, and then went into another song sketch that they were working on, which they ended up calling Sick Puppy. It went like this. Let's try that again. I think I can do that better. when they were working on Sick Puppy, they ended up jettisoning everything else. They kept that bass riff, and they were messing around with it, trying to figure out what they were going to do. And Edge, the guitarist for U2, had been really intrigued by what was going on with like industrial music and things like Nine Inch Nails, which of course, rather understandably, left drummer Larry Mullen Jr. rather concerned about his future employment. What they ended up doing, they found that they really liked the energy and the sound of the live drums, but you could also hear definitely influence of a lot of the electronic music that was going into what Edge was being inspired by. For this song, it ended up being a kind of a layered percussion. Something like this. Edge had also been messing around with some guitar effects, which I'm not going to be able to duplicate here on Acoustic, but I give you a little bit of a sense of how it would come together. Johnny, take a walk with your sister Moon, let her pale light in and fill up the room. You've been living underground, eating from a can. You've been running away from what you don't understand. Love, she's slipping, she's sliding down. She'll be there with you, hit the ground. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright. She moves in mysterious ways, yeah. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright. She moves in mysterious ways, yeah. Johnny, take a dive, your sister Rain. Let us talk about the things you can't explain. The touch is the heat, to hurt is to steep. If you wanna kiss the sky, you better learn how to kneel on your knees, boy. She's awake, she turns the tide, she sees the man inside of the child. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright. She moves in mysterious ways, yeah. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright. She moves in mysterious ways, yeah, nah, nah. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright. Live my days, light up my life, whoa. Watch out, you might get what you're after. Ooh, baby, I'm strange but not a stranger. I am an ordinary guy burning down the house. One day you'll look back and you'll see how you were held there by this love. Well, you could stand it, you can move from this moment, follow this feeling. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright. She moves in mysterious ways, yeah. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright. She moves in mysterious ways, yeah, nah, nah. It's alright, it's not terrible. There you go. The version of Mysterious Ways I was able to get together with some live looping for you here today. I feel okay about how that came out. As per usual for the Coltrane Tuesdays, not quite enough not enough time was spent in the preparation and rehearsal, but I think I feel okay about how it did come out. So I've been doing a version of that song for a very, very long time, as I mentioned. If you check out the what's it called, the Live at Hava Java EP that came out, like I say, about a decade ago. There were a couple covers on that, as well as a couple of originals that were co-written by me and my songwriting partner Jonathan quite even longer ago, including The Wind and the Rain. That's the one, the Let Me Hear the Wind, Let Me Hear the Rain one, that people tend to respond to. And so yeah, that's the lead-off track is Mysterious Ways. Sort of the inspiration for me came through when actually I heard a cover of the song by Snow Patrol, which I haven't gone back and listened to at all. So I need to find that and put a link in the description once we're done here. But it opened hearing the version by Snow Patrol. I mean, oh right, there are actual chords to this song, with which obviously it's not at all sort of an open chord, folky chord sort of song. But then realizing, oh right, there is a regular chord structure, and oh right, U2 started out and wanted to be a punk band, so yeah, of course, power chords and sort of basic chord structures would be where a starting point of where they were putting stuff together, and so for a long time I've done that without looping, just the acoustic guitar part. As loops and looping and all of the having a bass guitar and other things became available, I started working those into my version as well. So these days, whenever I would perform Mysterious Ways, I'll usually use the looper to some effect, which of course allows me to actually start the song with the bass line, which is actually how it was written, as well as to get in more of the percussion, which obviously is pretty essential to the original recording. So you already heard me say a lot about how the song came together. Achtung Baby, the album, was released in November of '91. This Mysterious Ways was the second single from it, came out in December. Already talked about all of that. Oh yes, so the production crew, as I have U2, Bono, singer, Edge, guitarist, Adam Clayton on the bass, Larry Mullen Jr. as the drummer. They were working with, on this album, as well as several of their other best albums, working with Brian Eno, who also, of course, did all sorts of cool ambient things, and Daniel Lanois, who had been working with Brian Eno, but then was working with U2 on this album. My understanding, the references I found for this are primarily through Wikipedia, but hear me out. Most of the references on the Wikipedia article are actual printed books, so I wasn't able to find a whole lot more that I'll be able to link to afterwards, which is unfortunate, but there's lots of interesting stuff. Basically, Joshua Tree, their album came out. It was amazing. People loved it. When looking at the history of U2, the thing that has struck me most this time around when I'm looking at the history is how hit and miss it is. There are a lot of things that did not go very much the way they wanted to, and the pattern often seemed to be they would do something, it would be successful. They're like, oh, okay, so let's do that, but more, and then people like, so they're like, all right, I guess it's time to reinvent ourselves. And so this was Joshua Tree came out, lots of people loved it. They followed up with Rattle and Hum, which is Joshua Tree, but more so. And critics are like, yeah, and it didn't sell super well. And so they're like, all right, we're chopping down the Joshua Tree and doing something completely different. They had rented, I think it's like a really big house or a castle in Berlin, and they were messing around, but they just weren't gelling. Things just really weren't coming together at all. Like I say, they were messing around with that bass lick, and they're trying to figure out what they're going to do with it. At one point, Bono and Daniel Lanois nearly came to blows over what they're going to do with this particular song, because things were not working out the way they intended. at some point, Edge is messing around with some chords for what was going to be the bridge of this particular song that grew into Mysterious Ways. And Len was like, wait, do that. Do that some more. Do more of that. Two different chord progressions he'd been messing around with there got merged together and became the song One from Achtung Baby. And it was sort of this breakthrough moment of like, oh right, we can actually do this. We can actually find ways to come together and make cool music. But I had no idea that the song One, grew out of an improvisation based on what was going to become Mysterious Ways. So they fundamentally came up with the idea of what was going to happen with the song One, what was going to happen with the song Mysterious Ways. Then they were out of time in Berlin. So they moved to Dublin, just down the street from Edge and Bono's houses, which meant they could stay at home while then going and working at the place in Dublin. Still lots of challenges in getting the album together, but the breakthrough came in working on what would become Mysterious Ways, figuring out some chords for the song One. Also, I would say, oh yes, so the thing that got the Edge inspired for Mysterious Ways, he was messing around with a Korg A3 effects unit, a setting called Funk Wah. And that created the distinctive sound, which of course I did not replicate, but which is so iconic in the Mysterious Ways recording. And Bono subsequently described the song as "U2 at our funkiest," which I think is about right. Edge apparently contributed the line "It's all right," which of course ends up being the focus of the chorus. I think the story was that they realized they hadn't used the line "It's all right" in any of their songs previously, so like, all right, we're gonna throw that in there. He also advocated for the songs that did end up being the lyrics, I should say, that didn't end up being the actual lyrics. That sounds sort of like a nursery rhyme with Johnny, take a walk with your sister in the moon, Johnny, take a dive with your sister in the rain. Sort of these, sort of that idea. He liked that feel to it. And perhaps the biggest lasting impact of this particular song, the belly dancer, which I featured in the thumbnail for the video before we started, is, if I understand it correctly, the belly dancer is an American woman, grew up in L.A., named Morley Steinberg. She, I understand, was in the music video. They started their subsequent tour with a different person doing the dancing, and then Morley Steinberg came back and was touring with U2 and doing the belly dancing on stage for Mysterious Ways for this particular song. And at the end of the tour, Morley Steinberg and Edge started going out. And then they got married, and now they have kids. And so there you go. Mysterious Ways. What are you going to say? Speaking of dancing, I've looked at a lot of performances of U2 playing this song live. So initially they would have it with, they do the song with a belly dancer. Subsequently they would do something that U2 did a lot, which would be to pull people up on stage out of the audience. It seems like on the current show, so currently celebrating the 32-year anniversary of Achtung Baby coming out, they have a residency at the brand new Sphere in Las Vegas, where they're doing a bunch of shows. And it looks like in the performances these days of Mysterious Ways, they are not pulling people out of the audience, in particular not pulling women out of the audience to do this particular song. It is interesting to go back, and there are all sorts of people who are pulled out of the crowd. Women for this particular song, I should say. It is interesting. I've seen at least 2 videos that appear to feature the same woman being pulled out of the crowd. One of them in like Brazil and one of them in Paris. So I think it is a plausible conclusion that some of the people that Bono is pulling out of the crowd are plants. Especially if the person gets up on stage and actually does a really, really good job dancing, chances are good. It might not just be totally an accident. There also are people that their videos I saw of him pulling people out, and the person is just like, I don't know what to do. So they don't really dance around a whole lot. That said, I did also find another couple of videos where the same dude, a guy gets pulled out of the audience on two separate occasions, like years apart. One just more recently at the Sphere in Las Vegas, and another at Rome like 5 years ago. So I don't know. There could be some of it is probably like, oh hey, I recognize that guy because I pulled him up on stage 6 years ago. But you never know. Also, I'll post some links afterwards to see some of the various folks that Bono has pulled out of the crowd by design or by happenstance to flesh out that song and others. So I got started because I was so nervous about how Mysterious Ways was going to go without actually saying how the Not for Coltrane Stump-the-Band game works. So I should pause and do that now to give you a minute to respond to that prompt that I'm about to give you. Then I'll talk about something else, and then we'll play the Not for Coltrane Stump-the-Band game. The way the Not for Coltrane Stump-the-Band game works, in case you haven't heard me say this a lot of times already, people, especially people who are live online with me, will give me a song request, a song suggestion, to which I will have to play, in response to which I will have to play a song, regardless of whether I know the song that was requested. So maybe someone will request a song that I do happen to know, in which case I will try to play it to the best of my recollection and ability. Someone might request a song that I sort of know, like I've heard it a bunch of times, but I've never actually played it, in which case I will attempt to figure out how to play it here in front of everyone. Perhaps someone will request a song that I do not recognize at all. I don't recognize the name and know nothing about it, or know very, very, very little about it, in which case I will have to make up a brand new song right here on the spot with the same name as the song that was requested, thereby technically satisfying the requirement. That is how we play the Not for Coltrane Stump-the-Band game. Mark came up with a wonderful suggestion last time, so we'll see if Mark or any of the other folks who might be online, I wonder how many people are with us here today. Yeah, there are a couple people here with us today, so we'll see who chimes in with a suggestion. If we do not have a suggestion, I have a bag here of songs that have been requested from other events when I've been out in the real world, and so we'll see what happens with that. But in the meantime, I do want to mention another intro. Oh yes, I forgot to. And one of the many versions of Mysterious Ways that I saw featured Bono slipping in those lyrics from Burning Down the House, or similar lyrics from Burning Down the House by Talking Heads, also produced by Brian Eno. So I thought that was pretty cool, and I really liked slipping that in. Wasn't sure how it was going to go, but I feel pretty good about that. So the other thing I want to mention, looks like Mark is chiming in with a song request. But before I get to that, I do want to mention there is a cool event happening in Allentown this weekend. Beth, of course, an essential part of the Coltrane Tuesdays experience as it is currently formulated, again came up with the Janu Tuesdays name for the series that we're doing now. Beth and many other community performers are going to be joining together for an event called Twelfth Night. Twelfth Night, of course, being based on the end of the Christmas season, 12 Days of Christmas, which technically is already passed. But it's around this time that we would be celebrating it. You've got 12 Days of Christmas, Partridge in a Pear Tree, all of that. 12 Days of Christmas. At the end of Christmas is Epiphany, celebrating the Magi, the wise men showing up and venerating the baby Jesus. Also celebrated then as Three Kings Day, sometimes as a separate holiday. Of course, Epiphany is another name for it in Greek. So Twelfth Night is based on this idea of celebrating Epiphany, celebrating the end of the Christmas season. The production that's been happening here in the Lehigh Valley is over at Christ Lutheran Church in Allentown. They're now celebrating 40 years of this Twelfth Night event. It is you might call it a pageant based on medieval celebrations of Twelfth Night. It is very, very cool. It has dance and singing and music and lots of wonderful things, and lots of wonderful performers, including, I understand, a solo performance this year by Beth. Beth being one of the featured vocal soloists this time around. So it's very, very cool. Don't want to miss this. It is happening this weekend. So it's happening Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That is January 12th through the 14th. And like I say, at Christ Lutheran Church in Allentown. You can learn more information at christ-atown.org. christ-atown.org. And find out more about the Twelfth Night production. The performances are this Friday the 12th at 7:30, and then 2 shows a day, Saturday and Sunday, shows at 1 and at 4:30. It is a very, very cool community event. Definitely worth your time to check out and support people in the community getting together and doing something artistic. Great. So, now we get to the Not for Coltrane Stump-the-Band game. Let's see, Mark has an excellent suggestion. Mark says, between Joan Baez's birthday today and upcoming Martin Luther King Jr. birthday holiday, perhaps we shall overcome. That is an excellent suggestion. It has come up multiple times on this channel. We will see what I'm able to do with it today. I do have an arrangement of it that I had worked out. I suspect I will be able to pull it together without too much difficulty. I should say also the Martin Luther King Jr. Holiday is something that has definitely been on my mind. It might feature into next week's selection. Broad hint, if you know much about U2's catalog, you'll probably know what song I have in mind for that. But for now, the request is for We Shall Overcome. Let's see if I can remember the... Oh, no, I do it. There's just the one chord in there that doesn't sound quite right. Let me see if it's a major or minor. We overcome. Yes, that's what it is. For my Three Kings Day holiday, I should treat myself to some actual new strings because, oh boy, these are, they've been around for a bit. So I believe I have the chords worked out. We Shall Overcome is also a song that works well for coming up with additional lyrics on the fly. Not that I necessarily will be doing that, but we will see. So the request again, Mark requested We Shall Overcome. Let's see what I'm able to do. Shall live in peace. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do. hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. All around the world, all around the world, all around the world, all around the world someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I believe we shall overcome someday. If you've heard any of the recordings of Pete Seeger playing this song, in many of them he says his own very favorite words of the song were not ones that he wrote. They're words written by folks in Montgomery, Alabama. In the days of protest, days of the civil rights movement, they said the words, "We are not afraid. We are not afraid." He said those words so powerful, 'cause so many times we all are afraid. All not are afraid. We may not meet our moment in history, and yet we can still come together, hold hands, and we sing. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid today. Oh, deep in my heart, I believe we shall overcome someday. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We Shall Overcome, written or possibly co-written by the great Pete Seeger, and of course continued to be spread by many, many, many other folks, including a great many folks who did put their own lives and bodies on the line to fight for the meaning of that song, or for the meanings that that song was written to represent. So thanks very, very much to Mark for that wonderful request. I always, in addition to it just being a delightful and wonderfully important song, I'm always grateful when it's one that I pretty well know. There was a flub in there, but otherwise not too bad for one that was relatively, for definitely unrehearsed. So thanks very much to Mark for that. I'm very, very grateful. Thanks also to everyone who might be watching this, whether you're watching it live or if you're watching a replay later on. All of those things are much, much appreciated. Thanks everyone who's hitting the like button, everyone hitting the share button so other folks can see what we are doing here and possibly, when they have a moment, join in live as well when the opportunity presents itself. So, until next time, hey, Rex! Thank you. Yes, great suggestion, Mark. Thank you very much, Rex, for stopping by. It's wonderful to see Rex here as well. So, for all of the folks who will be watching later, thanks very much for checking it out. Thanks for hitting the like button, hitting the share button, all of those things, so more people can see what we do. And I then am going to prepare for the song for next week, which, as I mentioned, is going to tie in to the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, and we will see how that goes. But until that time, thanks so much to everyone for hanging out again. My name is Mike. I am not for Coltrane. Please take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I will see you again very soon.